Good morning, everyone. I am Nel A. Anyabesa, your future teacher for today's future teacher slash instructor for today's session. And now, in today's session, we are going to talk about the orthonormalization process by Graham Smith. Smith, the orthonormalization process theory. So we have here the Gram-Smith orthonormalization process in linear algebra, a course in college. So instruction, what is the Gram-Smith orthonormalization process? It is a method used in linear algebra to take a set of linear independent vectors and convert them into an orthonormal set of vectors. An orthonormal set is one where all vectors are orthogonal, perpendicular to each other, and each vector has a unit length or norm of 1, or the magnitude is 1 of the given vector. Orthogonal bases simplify many mathematical computations because the inner product of different basis vectors is 0, and the norm of each basis vectors is 1 in the orthonormal vector. This means that we can use the Gram-Smith orthonormalization process when the equations in a linear algebra is a linearly independent vectors, or the given vectors in a linear algebra is linearly independent. And it is we can proceed to orthonormalization process if the vectors is an orthogonal, which means their dot product is equals to 0, and it is called orthonormal vector if the unit length or the norm or the magnitude of that of each vector is equals to 1. So we have here two properties. So vectors u and v are orthogonal if their inner product, which is equals to the dot product of u and v, is equals to 0, just like what I have said earlier. If the inner product or the dot product of u and v is not equal to 0, therefore it is not orthogonal, and we cannot proceed to the orthonormal test. So second one, the vector u is an orthonormal if the unit vector of u is equals to the square root of the inner product of u and u is equals to 1. And if the unit vector of u is not equal to 1, therefore it is just an orthogonal vector but not an orthonormal vector. Meaning, all orthonormal vector is an orthogonal vector, but not all orthogonal vector is an orthonormal vector. So now, let's proceed to the theorem of Gram-Smith orthonormalization process. So first, let B be equals to the set of vectors v sub 1, v sub 2 up to v sub n, be a basis for an inner product space V. Then second, we need to find the B prime of our given set of vectors is equals to the set of vectors w sub 1, w sub 2 up to w sub n, where w sub I is given by, this is how to find the B prime of our given B set of vectors. So w sub 1 is always equal to v sub 1. Then in finding w sub 2, we have here equals to v sub 2 subtracted to the inner product of v sub 2 and w sub 1 all over the inner product of w sub 1 and w sub 1 multiplied to w sub 1, where w sub 1 there and v sub 2 is the given vectors. As you can see on the second term, it is very familiar because b prime here is being used to test if the accumulated new vectors is an orthogonal basis for v. This means that the second term there is an equation for orthogonal projection of w sub 1 to v sub 2. So that is how to get the w sub 2. And now let's proceed. When finding w sub 3, we have here given equation. V sub 3 minus the orthogonal projection of w sub 1 to to v sub 3, which is the inner product of v sub 3 and w sub 1 all over the inner product of w sub 1 and w sub 1 multiplied to w sub 1 minus or subtracted to the orthogonal projection of w sub 2 to v sub 3, which is the inner product of v sub 3 and w sub 2 all over the inner product of w sub 2 and w sub 2 multiplied to w sub 2. And that is how to get the w sub 3. Hence, as we can see on the given equation in finding the vectors for our b prime, we can identify some sequence. Hence, so w sub n is equals to v sub n minus the inner product of v sub n and w sub 1 all over w sub 1 and w sub 1 multiplied to w sub 1 subtracted to the inner product of v sub n and w sub 2 all over w sub 2 and w sub 2, or the inner product of w sub 2 and w sub 2 multiplied to w sub 2 subtracted to until we get this sequence, the last, which is subtracted to the inner product of v sub n and w sub n minus 1 all over the inner product of w sub n minus 1 and w sub n minus 1 multiplied to w sub n minus 1. If we now have the new vectors for b prime, and if we test this in to orthogonal, and their that product or the inner product of the vectors in b prime is equals to 0, then b prime now is an orthogonal basis for v. Then number 3, what is the usage of this theorem number 3? So the usage of this one is to transform your b into b prime, and your b prime transforming it to a new vector na naman by using the unit vector in finding our b of n is equals in finding the set of vectors b raised to n is equals to the set of vectors u sub 1, u sub 2 up to u sub n, and we test this for orthonormalization, then and their or the unit length or the norms of this accumulated u sub n is equals to 1, then the u sub n is an orthonormal basis, and it spans b, or our the original set of vectors. So that is the usage of the theorem number 3 to find if the newly accumulated vectors is an orthonormal basis for v, or if the question is asking that we need to find the orthonormal basis for v using the Gram-Schmidt orthonormalization process, then we just simply use this theorem. So to understand more, let's try to solve some problems using this process, the Gram-Schmidt orthonormalization process. So we have here example number 1, or some examples. We have here apply Gram-Schmidt process in finding the orthogonal basis for r raised to 2 given B, which is the set of vectors, is equals to our vector 1, which is composed of 1 and 1, and for our vector number 2 is 0 and 1. So first things first, we let B be equal to the set of vectors v sub 1 and v sub 2, where v sub 1 is our first given vectors, which is 1 and 1, and our v sub 2 is the second vector, which is 0 and 1. Then next is to find the newly vectors for our b prime to test and to find the orthogonal basis for R2, since it it is what the question is asking for. So we have here, let b prime be equal to a set of vectors w sub 1 and w sub 2, where w sub I is, so do you remember how to find the w sub 1 or w sub 2, just like that? So we have here using the Gram-Schmidt process, so we have here w sub 1 is equals, according to the theorem, is equals to v sub 1, which is vector 1 and 1. So we have now the values for our w sub 1 for b prime. So what we need to find now is the w sub 2 for b prime. So the w sub 2 is equals to v sub 2 minus the inner product of v sub 2 and w sub 1 all over the inner product of w sub 1 and w sub 1 multiplied to w sub 1, which equals to, we just simply substitute, we have v sub 2 is equals to 0 and vector 0 and 1, and w sub 1 is equals to v sub 1, which is a vector 1 and 1. So we have here vector 0 and 1 subtracted to the inner product of vector 0 and 1 and vector 1 and 1 all over the inner product of vector 1 and 1 and vector 1 and 1, which is the values for our w sub 1, multiplied to vector 1 and 1, which is as usual the values for our w sub 1, which is equal, so we need to solve for the inner products of these different two vectors. So the inner product of the vector 0 and 1 and 1 and 1 is 1, since 0 times 1 plus 1 times 1, which is equals to 1. Then the inner product of vectors 1 and vector 1 and 1 is equals to 2, since 1 times 1 is equals to 1 plus 1 times 1 is equals to 1. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. So we have here on our last equals, so we have here vectors 0 and 1 is subtracted to 1 over 2 multiplied to a vector 1 and 1. That is equal to vector 0 and 1 subtracted to vectors 1 over 2 and 1 over 2, which is equals to negative 1 over 2 and 1 over 2. So now let's test if this accumulated new vectors is an orthogonal basis for R2. So what is the formula that we need to use in finding, in testing if it is an orthogonal basis for R2? So we need to use the dot product of w sub 1 and w sub 2, which is the dot product of the newly accumulated two vectors, which is w sub 1 and w sub 2. Our w sub 1 here is equals to vector 1 and 1, and w sub 2 is equals to vector negative 1 over 2 and 1 over 2. The newly accumulated vectors that we get by using the Gram-Schmidt process on finding the set of vectors of b prime. So we have here dot product of w sub 1 on the end w sub 2, which is equals to the vectors of 1 and 1, dot product of 1 and 1 and negative 1 over 2 and 1 over 2, which is equal to 1 times negative 1 over 2 plus 1 times positive 1 over 2 is equals to negative 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2, which is equals now to 0. Since B prime is an orthogonal basis for R2, since the dot product of the set of vectors B prime is equals to 0, therefore the orthogonal basis for B is, we have here set of vectors, vector 1 and 1 and vector negative 1 over 2 and 1 over 2. So that is how to find the orthogonal basis for R raised to 2 using the Gram-Schmidt process. So as you can see, in this problem, the only unknown here is, or the only task that the question is asking is to find the orthogonal basis. So what if the question is asking if in finding the orthonormal basis for R2. So that's the time we use the third theorem of Gram-Schmidt process. So we have here example number 2. So apply Gram-Schmidt orthonormalization process in finding the orthonormal basis for R raised to 3, just like what I have said earlier. So we have here given B equals to a set of vectors. We have here 3 vectors. So we have vector number 1, which is 1, 1, 0. Vector number 2 is 1, 2, 0. Vector number 3 is 0, 1, 2. So for our solution, we just simply use the Gram-Schmidt process. So we let B be a set of vectors v sub 1, v sub 2, and v sub 3, where v sub 1 is equal to the vector 1, 1, 0, and v sub 2 is equal to vector 1, 2, 0, and v sub 3 is equal to vector 0, 1, 2. And we let B prime be equal to the set of vectors, newly vectors W sub 1, W sub 2, and W sub 3, where W sub I is, just like what we did earlier, we just simply use that theorem that Gram-Schmidt given. So we have here W sub 1 is equals to V sub 1, which is equals to vector 1, 1, 0. And for our W sub 2, just the same process, just like what we did earlier. So V sub 2 minus the orthogonal projection of W sub 1 to V sub 2, which is the inner product of V sub 2 and W sub 1, all over the inner product of W sub 1 and W sub 1 multiplied to W sub 1, which is equal to vector 1 to 0 minus the inner product of vector 1 to 0 and 1, 1, 0, all over the inner product of vector 1, 1, 0 and vector 1, 1, 0 multiplied to a vector 1, 1, 0, which is the value of our W sub 1. So which is equals to vector 1 to 0 minus the results of the inner product of our V sub 2 and W sub 1 all over the inner product of W sub 1 and W sub 1 is 3 over 2, or 3 halves, multiplied to vector our W sub 1, which is 1, 1, 0, which is equals to the vectors vector 1, 1 to 0 subtracted to vector 3 over 2 and 3 over 2 and 0, which is equals to negative 1 half, or negative 1 over 2, vector negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2, and 0. So that is now the values for our vector W sub 2. Next, we need to find the values for our W sub 3, since we have here 3 given vectors for our B. So W sub 3, in finding W sub 3, we have here equation V sub 3 minus the inner product of V sub 3 and W sub 1 all over the inner product of W sub 1 and W sub 1 multiplied to W sub 1 minus the orthogonal projection of W sub 2 to V sub 3, which is the inner product of V sub 3 and W sub 2 all over the inner product of W sub 2 and W sub 2 multiplied to W sub 2, which is now equals to, we just simply substitute the given elements in each vectors. So V sub 3 is equals to 0, vector 0, 1, 2, then w sub 1 is equals to vector 1, 1, 0, minus we have here the inner product of v sub 3 and w sub 2, which is w sub 2 is equals to vector negative 1 over 2 and 1 over 2 and 0. So by simplifying this equation, then we get now the vector of 0, 1, 2 minus 1 over 2 multiplied to 1, vector 1, 1, 0 minus 1 multiplied to vector negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2, and 0. How, why do we get the, why do you have here 1 over 2? Simple. It is the result of the inner product of v sub 3 and w sub 1 all over w sub 1 and w sub 1. So we have here the inner product of vector 0, 1, 2 and 1, 1, 0 all over the inner product of 1, 1, vector 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 0 and vector 1, 1, 0. So 0 times 1, 0 plus 1 times 1 plus 2 times 0, which is 1 over 1 times 1 plus 1 times 1 plus 0 times 0, which is 2, minus or subtracted to the inner product of our v sub 3 and w sub 2 all over the inner product of w sub 2 and w sub 2, which is the inner product of vector 0, 1, 2 and vector 0 and negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2 and 0 all over the inner product of negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2, 0 and the vector negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2 and 0 multiplied to the vector negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2 and 0. So 0 times negative 1 over 2 plus 1 times 1 over 2 plus 2 times 0 is equals to 1. And negative 1 over 2 times negative 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 plus 0 times 0 is equals to 1. Also, that is why we have here a 1 multiplied to a vector negative 1 of negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2 and 0, which results to the vector of 0, 1, 2 minus the vector of 1 over 2, 1 over 2 and 0 minus the vector of negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2 and 0. Then we just simplify it to find the new vector for our w sub 3. Then we get vector 0, 0 and 2. We just simply subtract the first element in each vectors, then subtract next the element on the second element of each vectors to get the second element of our w sub 3, and subtract the third element of each vectors to get the third element of our w sub 3. So w sub 3 is equals to the vector 0, 0, 2. Now, since we have the b prime, then we need to test this one if it is an orthogonal vector. So we have here as b prime is equals to the set of vectors w sub 1, w sub 2, and w sub 3, which is equals to the set of vectors for w sub 1, which is 1, 1, 0. W sub 2 is negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2, and 0. And w sub 3 is 0, 0, 2. So we need to test for the orthogonal basis for b. If the accumulated vectors in b prime is an orthogonal basis for b, so it should be that the dot product or the inner product of each of the vectors is equal to 0. So we just simply use the dot product of we have here dot product of w sub 1 and w sub 2, w sub 1 and w sub 3, and w sub 2 and w sub 3. Since it is composed of 3 vectors, each vector should have a dot product with each other. So we have here the dot product of w sub 1 and w sub 2 is equals to the dot product of vector 1, 1, 0 and negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2 and 0. which is equals to 1 times negative 1 over 2 plus um, 1 times 1 over 2 plus 0 times 0, which is equals to negative 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2 plus 0, which is equals to 0. So next is we need to um, solve for the dot product for w sub 1 and w sub 3. So we have here the vector 1, 1, 0, the dot product of vector 1, 1, 0 and 0, 0, 2, which is equals to 1 times 0 plus 1 times 0 plus 0 times 2 is equal to 0 plus 0 plus 0, which is equals to 0. So how do we operate the dot product? Simple. We just simply multiplied the each element. So we need to multiply first the first element of each vectors plus the product of the second element of each vectors plus the product of the third element of each vectors must be equal to 0. So lastly, we have here the dot product of w sub 2 and w sub 3. So we have here big vector negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2 and 0. And we have here for our w sub 3 vector 0, 0, 2. We need to find the dot product of it. So is equals to the product of 0 and negative 1 over 2 plus the product of 0 and 1 over 2 plus the product of 0 and 2, which is equals to 0 plus 0 plus 0, which is equals to 0. Hence, B prime is an orthogonal basis for B. Why? Because the dot product of each vectors when partnered to each other is 0. Therefore, the B prime is an orthogonal basis for B. And this time, we can now proceed to the orthonormal basis or orthonormal test using the Gram-Schmidt process to know if the newly accumulated vector for B raised to n or the set of vectors u sub 1, u sub 2, and u sub 3 is an orthonormal vectors, and if it is an orthonormal vectors, therefore it is an orthonormal basis for B. So we have here solution, find the orthonormal basis for B. So how to find the orthonormal basis for B? So we now use the theorem number 3 by using the unit vector. So we have here finding B raised to n is equals to the set of vectors u sub 1, u sub 2 up to u sub n, which is equals to B raised to 3. Why raised to 3? Because we have here 3 different vectors. Is equals to u sub 1, u sub 2, and u sub 3. So to find the orthonormal basis for B, we just simply use the formula of the unit vector. We have here u sub n is equals to w sub n over the unit length of w sub n. Sorry, I forgot that one. The unit length or the unit magnitude or unit norm of w sub n. So for our u sub 1, so how to find the u sub 1? So in finding the u sub 1, we just simply use the given element on the vector w sub 1. So we have here u sub 1 is equals to w sub 1 all over the unit vector or the unit length of w sub 1, which is equals to vector 1, 1, 0 all over the square root of 1 raised to 2 plus 1 raised to 2 plus 0 raised to 2. Because in finding in solving the unit length, unit magnitude, or unit norm of a vector is equals to this equation. We need to find the square root of the square root of the squared of each of the element. We need to find the square root of the squared summation of each element. So which is equals to the 1 raised to 2 plus 1 raised to 2 plus 0 raised to 2 is equals to 2. So we have here over square root of 2. We just simply copy the values of our w sub 1, which is 1, 1, 0. So since we need to find a vector, then we just simply have a denominator of square root of 2. So we have here the first element for our w sub 1 is 1 over the denominator, and the second element over the denominator, and the third element over the denominator. So we have here 1 over square root of 2. The second element for u sub 1 is 1 over square root of 2. And the third element is 0 over square root of 2, or 0. So next, we need to find the u sub 2. So in finding the u sub 2, same process on what we are doing in finding the values or the elements of the vector u sub 1. So we have here u sub 2 is equals to vector w sub 1 all over the unit length of w sub 2, which is equals to the values of the elements of our vector w sub 2 is negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2, and 0, all over the square root of the negative 1 over 2 raised to 2 plus 1 over 2 raised to 2 plus 0 raised to 2, which equals to the square root of 2 over 2. And we just simply copy the value of our w sub 2 or the vectors. Then we have negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2, and 0. So since we have here three different radicals, fractions, then we just simply substitute this one and have an so we just simply bring the over 2 to the numerator, and the square root of 2 in the denominator. So we get 2 times the vector negative 1 over 2, 1 over 2, and 0, all over square root of 2. And we just simplify the given equation. So we have here for the vector u sub 2, we have here the elements negative 1 over square root of 2, 1 over square root of 2, and lastly 0 for our vector u sub 2. So lastly, we need to find the vectors for our u sub 3 using the the elements of vector w sub 3. So we have here u sub 3 is equals to w sub 3 all over the unit length or magnitude or norms of w sub 3, which is equals to same process on how we get the w sub 1, elements of w sub 1 and u sub 2. U sub 1 and u sub 2, sorry, which is equals to the vector 0, 0, 2 all over the square root of 0 squared plus 0 squared plus 2 squared, which is equals to square root of 4, and the square root of 4 is equals to 2. Then we have vector 0, 0, 2 over 2, which is equals to 0. The element of our u sub 3 is 0, 0, and 1. Since we have here vector 0 over 2, which is equals to 0, 0 over 2, which is equals to 0, 2 over 2, which is equals to 1. That is why we have here u sub 3 has an element vector of 0, 0, 1. Then next, since we have now our elements of the three vectors for b raised to n or b raised to 3, which is the u sub 1, u sub 2, and u sub 3, then we can now test if b raised to 3 is an orthonormal basis for b. So how to test the orthonormal vectors? How to test the vectors if it is orthonormal? Sorry. So we just simply use the unit vector. So what is the unit vector? So using the formula and finding the length or magnitude of a vector, which is the unit vector. Unit vector of u sub n is equals to the square root of the inner product of u sub n and u sub n. So we have here first our u sub 1. So we need to test if its unit vector is equals to 1. So we have here u sub the unit vector of u sub 1 is equals to the square root of the inner product of u sub 1 and u sub 1, which is equals to the square root of over 1 over square root of 2 raised to 2 plus 1 over square root of 2 raised to 2 plus 0 raised to 2, which equals to 1. Therefore, we have here square root of 1. And square root of 1 is equals to 1. Then it is an orthonormal basis. So we need to test for u sub 2. So u sub 2, the unit vector of u sub 2 is equals to the square root of the inner product of u sub 2 and u sub 2, which is equal to the square root of negative 1 over square root of 2 raised to 2 plus 1 over square root of 2 raised to 2 plus 0 raised to 2, which is equals to square root of 1. So we just simply input this one on our calculator so that we cannot experience some difficulties in solving these fractions with radicals. So we get square root of 1, and square root of 1 is equals to 1. My God. So thirdly, we need to test if the unit vector of u sub 3 is equals to 1. So the unit vector of u sub 3 is equals to the square root of the inner product of u sub 3 and u sub 3, which equals to the square root of 0 squared plus 0 squared plus 1 squared, which is equals to 0 squared is 0 plus 0 squared is 0 plus 1 squared is 1. So we have here square root of 1, which equals to 1. So since the set b raised to 3 is an orthonormal basis, why? Because all unit length or unit vectors for b raised to 3 is has a results that is equal to 1. Therefore, it is an orthonormal vector. So the set of b raised to 3 is an orthonormal basis. Therefore, b raised to 3 is an orthonormal basis for b. By Gram-Schmidt, u sub 1, u sub 2, and u sub 3 spans b. So that is how to transform your given vectors into an orthonormal basis for b, or for r raised to 3, or how many elements in a vector. So that is the usage, or that is the essence of using theorem number 3 by Gram-Schmidt, orthonormalization process. So to further enhance your skills, you may answer this last example. So we have here use the Gram-Schmidt process to transform the basis b is equals to the set of vectors. We have here vector 1, 1, 1, 1, and vector 2 is 0, 1, 1. Vector 3 is 1, 2, 3. For the Euclidean space r raised to 3 into an orthonormal basis for r raised to 3. You can use the last process that we used in finding the orthonormal basis for r raised to 3. In this problem, we can use now the third theorem of Gram-Schmidt orthonormalization process. So that is all for now. I hope you guys have learned something in this video. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day. Thank you, everyone.